what's been driving all this interest in Japanese stocks. And I mean, fundamentally, you can't ignore just how weak the yen has gotten.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, that for dollar investors, that's really not good news. And in fact, that tends to be the tragedy of the Japanese market, is that periods of weak yen tend to coincide with periods of market outperformance. But for dollar-based investors, that's not necessarily a good thing. So actually, Japan has underperformed the US. Topix has underperformed the S&P so far in dollar terms this year.
So there's the currency effect. There's also the fact that a lot of foreign entities, activist investors, are really stirring things up in Japan. I mean, that trend continues.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be possible without some buy-in from Japanese corporates and the Japanese government. So if you look back, there was a previous wave of activist investors like Steel Partners going after Sapporo, for example, years ago, and Japan circled the wagons, and there were a lot of poison pills brought in, and essentially the activists had to back off. But this time there seems to be a lot more cooperation. There's actually a lot more domestic-based activist investors who are working with management and having quite a good effect, especially on a lot of the sort of smaller cap names.
Okay, good to hear. Man's coming on this.
Yeah, sort of dovetailing into the activist thematic is, of course, the improvement that we've seen, and it was a long time coming in corporate Japan, of corporate governance, which, of course, goes hand in hand with corporate reforms in general. To what degree are we seeing that materially flow through to better shareholder returns?
Yes, I mean, I think that there's two factors going on here. One is that there's a bunch of companies who are becoming a lot more active in corporate reform, so essentially changing their businesses and improving the businesses, getting out of non-core operations and focusing. And the other side of it is actual focus on capital efficiency. So this is a combination of improving dividends and more buybacks. And we've seen actually even before the sort of people this year started focusing on Japan more, we had been seeing an acceleration of this type of activity. It's just that it's been getting bigger and better. So, for example, Citizens 25% buyback earlier on this year, and then Dai Nippon Print coming in and saying they're going to buy back around 25% over 3 years. So, that's sort of pretty big scale stuff, which we hadn't really seen before.